Hello everyone, welcome to video. Today we're starting a new series, a new way to discover books. Maybe my favorite new way to discover books. This series is going to be called Tea Picks TBR, and I'm going to use my favorite teas to determine what I should read. Because frankly, picking the next book to read is the hardest part of the entire reading journey, and I love tea. So, the first specimen we have here today. This is a Milky green Oolong tea. For those of you who do not know, basically most actual teas come from the tea plant. So that is green tea, black tea, white tea, and Oolong teas. They're all from the same plant, and the only difference between them essentially, of course, like where they're grown, how they're grown, at what point they are harvested, all of that stuff. But what actually makes different teas is just the oxidation and how the tea is prepared after harvesting. So an Oolong tea is kind of an in-between between a black tea and a green tea, and depending on whether you go for a green Oolong, like I have here, or a black Oolong, the flavors are going to be different. But I think Oolong teas are a fantastic choice for people that don't like green teas and black teas. I think this one, because they're a lot more mellow and less bitter. They also don't turn bitter as easily, like you would. Because black teas and green teas, they're especially sensitive to heat, and they're especially sensitive to steeping time. Oolong is a little bit more forgiving, and this is easily, for the past 2 years, this has been my favorite tea. And I stand behind that. So what we're doing, how we are doing this, I am going to use the flavors, the vibes of this tea, and I'm going to go onto Storygraph and go to my TBR. Let me find it. Where is it? To read pile, there we go. On Storygraph, they have this really great feature where you can select all sorts of, filter all of your lists with all sorts of things. I'm just going to go with the mood of the teas first. Select what kind of mood this tea is giving me. And then I'm going to go in and maybe see if I want a fiction or non-fiction book, all of these things. And then I'm going to see what Storygraph spits out. So, let me put on my connoisseur head. I've put a little bit of milk in this tea, but no sugar. Usually I like my tea with a little bit of sweetener, but with Oolong I find it's usually not necessary because, as I said, the tea is not as bitter. And to me this is like a very light, this is very light and very, not like light-hearted is definitely what I would go with. So I'm going to put in light-hearted. Energizing, maybe. Is there such a thing as energizing here? No. There's adventurous. I'm not sure if I would say this tea is adventurous. I think it's a pretty basic tea though. Okay. Let me take another sip. Just so comforting, you know? Like, maybe reflective would be a good one. I'm gonna go with reflective. I think this tea, because it's so easy, you don't really have to think about how to prepare it. It is, it gives you room to think on other things, to reflect on other things. So I have these selected. And then let's just see. I don't think, do I get any vibe about it? I feel like pacing wise, I think all would be fine. I think I'm more in the mood of a fiction book, but I don't need a fiction book right now, I think. I'm going to leave that open. I'm not going to put anything for genres or any other tags. And then I'm just going to press the filter button. Are you ready? 3 books. Okay. Okay. We have The Summer Book by Tove Jansson. Tove Jansson, I think. I think this is like a book told in vignettes about a grandmother and a granddaughter going on a summer vacation. And we have Slow Days, Fast Company by Babitz. I think this is a non-fiction about LA in the 60s, right? 70s, 1960s and 70s. Okay, I feel like this one would also be fun. And then we have In the Pursuit of Love by Nancy Mitford. Not in, just The Pursuit of Love. Oh, I want to read all of these. Oh, okay. I think, like, we're still going off the tea. This tea is definitely more cabin in the woods, summer vacationing by a lake than it is hot LA parties in the 60s. So I'm leaning towards the summer book. I think The Pursuit of Love, I don't know, it just doesn't know. I feel like the summer book really works because this tea is like, it is the kind of tea I would drink like in the chill mornings before it gets really hot for the day, where you're like on a lake or at the beach and you're kind of in a more secluded foresty area. That is more what I'm tasting from this one. And also I really want to read the summer book. It is late August right now, so summer is almost over and obviously I would like to read this before summer is actually over. How long is this book? 190 pages in the paperback. That's not too bad. I think I have the ebook of this. I'm gonna go check 1 second. Yep, I have an ebook of this. Fantastic. So we're reading the summer book. This is so exciting. I will give you all an update when I have actually started reading this. Hello everyone, welcome to Update. I am about, let me check, 45% through the book, 46% through the book. I've been reading for the morning and like over the past few days, and so far I am really enjoying this. So as I said earlier, this book is written in vignettes, meaning it doesn't really follow a plot. You just kind of get a couple of scenes. It's like a highlight reel. It's like a carousel of their summer, if you will, and it's just a bunch of different small-ish events that happen in their lives being on this island during the summer in Finland, and it's very fun and atmospheric. By the way, look at my mug. It says coffee shop, which is like, of course I don't have coffee in this. Okay, this is tea. I'm having a vanilla black tea, in case you were wondering, because I slept terribly last night. I don't know, I feel like you can see I have like some pretty dark circles. I slept terribly. I need the caffeine. And I hate coffee. I wish tea was as commercially available as coffee. Like, we don't have tea shops, at least here in Germany, right? Which is very disappointing. So I wish this had a tea shop. Alas, it doesn't. It's fine. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the book. I think the match to the Oolong tea is very on point. Like, I don't know, it's very much like, Jesus, sorry about that. What was I saying? So it's like it's a warm but breezy summer day lying in the shade by the beach kind of vibe. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I read somewhere that for like many Finnish people it is a kind of tradition to reread this book every summer. If you're Finnish, let me know if that's true. Which I can 100% see. Like, I can 100% see how me reading this in the first week of summer, kind of to get myself excited for the summer season. I don't like summer. So yeah, I'm having a good time. Again, there's not really a plot, so I'm finding it a little bit boring to read. Mach ein Reading Update. Willst du Hallo sagen?
Siehst du, wie ich aussehe?
Das ist ein valider Punkt. Ich werde das nicht machen, wenn du dabei bist. Ich bin schüchtern. Yeah, so, anyway. I feel like this book is better enjoyed if you read it like a chapter or two every day for a couple of weeks, or like however long it takes to finish the book if you only read a chapter a day, and less so if you like read it all in a couple of days. But yeah, I'm still having a good time, and I am going to finish it in a couple of days because this is making me want summer. And A, I don't usually like summer, so I'm kind of unnerved by that. And B, it's the end of August. It's been raining the last couple of days. We've had thunderstorms. Like, it looks like for the minute summer is over. I'm sure we're gonna get a couple of hot days in like October or something. But for now, summer seems pretty much done for. And so I don't want to get in the summer mood now. But I could see myself reading this next year in like May or June. I thought I would give you a couple more book recommendations if you enjoy an oolong tea, or if you like these books, you should check out an oolong tea. These are 100% just vibes based, and honestly, you're watching a video about me picking my book based on a tea. So if you really expect anything more than vibes from these recommendations, I think that's on you. So first up, I'm going to recommend my favorite romance book. This is Well Met by Jen DeLuca. I think the bookmark is from my sister starting to read it. And this is a Renaissance fair romance book. So the protagonists both volunteer at a Renaissance fair. And we follow Emily, who just moved into this town because her sister was in a car accident, and she is kind of helping her sister get back on track and taking care of her niece as well. And Simon is the male protagonist, and he is one of the teachers at the high school, and he's also one of the like founders of this Renaissance fair. He's one of the people that is like responsible for organizing it. And they butt heads a couple of times in the beginning, but they're also very flirty with each other. I love this series so much. This is, I mean, the only romance books I've given 5 stars were in this series. This one and the last one also got 5 stars. So I love these books. I can't tell you why exactly. I don't know what these do differently than other romance books. But there is something that they do different. And I don't know. This one's just really fun. All of these are quite springy books. Summer and spring books. And I think that kind of ties in with the tea. It is quite a flowery and sweet flavor as well. So I feel like spring and summer just kind of work with it the best. Okay, then I have Businessmen as Lovers by Rosemary Tongs. I read this book last year on a trip to Berlin with my boyfriend, and it is quite short. First of all, it follows a group of friends that go on holiday together in Italy. And it's very no plot, just vibes. It's just like fun holiday shenanigans in Italy. But it is very charming. I really like the friend group. This was written in the 60s, I believe. And it is quite the feminist take on friendship and relationship, in my opinion. Also, the author, Rosemary Tongs, that is quite the rabbit hole to go into if you read this book. Okay, then I have another classic. I have Emma by Jane Austen. Emma is probably my favorite Jane Austen, maybe alongside Northanger Abbey. I haven't reread either of them. I've only read both of them once. So I want to reread them and like check. But regardless, I do really enjoy Emma. It is one of her chunkier ones. However, I think it is well worth the read. You follow Emma Woodhouse, who is a bit of an obnoxious character. She's quite meddling. She meets a new friend in the book, and she tries to set up this friend with a person, and it doesn't work out, and her love interest is her sister's husband's brother. So her Schwibschwager. I don't know how you say that in English, but yeah, there is a family relation there, and which is why he like sticks around so much. But they have like very flirty banter, I want to say. Is it flirty? I don't know if it's flirty outright, but they are bantering. And he is like one of the few people that is willing to give her contra. Usually people just think she's so flawless and so perfect, and he kind of sees through that and sees her for who she truly is, which isn't always a good person. But yeah, the relationship in this one is very, very sweet because it's just so based on two people knowing each other. You know, to be loved is to be known. That kind of thing. It's also very springy and summery again. If you've seen the movie those are the vibes. The movie captures this book very well, in my opinion. And I would highly recommend checking out the movie as well. And then the last one, Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. This is one of my favorite books of all time as well. Again, quite springy, quite summery. And you follow Sophie. Sophie is the eldest daughter of a hatter, and because she's an eldest daughter, there's no way there's anything going to come of her. So when she is cursed by a witch to turn into an old woman, she just kind of dips. She's like, you know what? Nothing was going to get, like, this life was never going to afford me anything. I might as well just go. So she leaves her town and she runs into Howl's Moving Castle, Howl being the evil wizard that is stealing and eating young women's hearts, souls, something like that. He is a bad person, is word on the street, okay? And they kind of strike up an unlikely friendship along with the other people living in the castle, and it's just very wholesome. It is quite different from the movie, but at the same time, it isn't all. Like, the plot is different. There are certainly certain aspects that the movie doesn't cover at all or completely change, but the vibes, the message, the kind of imagery, it still reads like a Studio Ghibli story, if you know what I mean. Those are the book recommendations. In terms of reading update, I'm 79% through, and my Kobo tells me that is 41 minutes of reading left. So I'm either going to finish this today or tomorrow. And once I do, I check in with you. Once I do, I'll check in with you. That way around. Okay, everyone. It's been a couple of days since I finished the book, and I am ready to give you my review. So I've decided to not give a star rating just because I think this is a book that just doesn't lend itself very well to a star rating, since it doesn't really have a consecutive plot and only like 2 characters. There's not really much to rate on a 5-star scale, I guess. But I would still say this book was well worth the read. It has a lot of themes about like growing up versus growing old. It has a lot of themes between growing up versus growing old, because obviously we follow a child and then also an elderly woman. And I think the contrast between the two and how much they kind of have in common, and also how much they kind of can learn from each other, was very sweet. And I would recommend this book specifically for summer, obviously. Shocker, the summer book, is a good summer read. I think if you are like me and you kind of struggle with the summer season specifically, this book would really lend itself to kind of get you in the spirits, and also to make sure that you don't lose sight of the great things of summer. I think the way the book describes nature and just existing with the world around you, and it kind of describes the routines this family goes through every summer that they go on vacation, you know, the way when they pack up the summer house, what that is like and what that feels like. And in a way, you know, the seasons are ever changing, everything in our lives is ever changing, but the fact that we also have routines around these changes, I don't know, there was just something very comforting in that notion. And again, as someone who struggles with summer specifically as a season, I don't get winter depression, I only get summer depression. I just thought that this was very sweet, and I think if I were to reread it, I would probably do so in the beginning of summer to kind of remind myself that not all is lost and there are good aspects of this season. In terms of how well I think this related to the tea, I think this was a good pick. The kind of flowery, light-hearted notes almost of the tea very well connect with the themes of the book. However, if I do a future episode of this, let me know if I should. If I do a future episode of this, I think I would probably try a different method of picking the book, just because this was very subjective and vibes-based, and I kind of struggled describing the flavors and then kind of translating that into themes for books. I liked using the Storygraph filtering system for this, But I don't know. I'll do some brainstorming. You can do as well and see if I can maybe figure out another way to make this work for us, for you and me. Also, by the way, I rearranged my room. I don't know if you can tell. I feel like in terms of consistency, this vlog is terrible because I got a haircut and I rearranged my room both while filming this video. It's fine. Don't even worry about it. But yeah, I hope you had a good time. Let me know your favorite tea. I want to know. And let me know if you have a recommendation to go with that tea. Like and subscribe. Do all the YouTube-y things. I will see you guys in the next video.